Whenever we are discussing these deficits, just keep in mind this flow chart. Now first one we will discuss budget deficit according to our flow chart. Budget deficit. Budget deficit is redundant concept. In 1997, it means after 1997, India never experienced any kind of budget deficit. Budget is always balanced. Like for example, this is total expenditure minus total receipts. Budget deficit means total expenditure minus total receipts. Suppose for example, you have expenditure of 100 crore and you have a receipts of 80 crore. Then there is deficit. But you will fulfill with this borrowing. So that will come out as 100 crore minus 100 crore means your receipts equals to your expenditure. I समझ बात? So in India, there is no budget deficit. Whenever there is shortfall in the revenue, government borrows money to bridge the gap between revenue and expenditure. Clear okay? So you write budget deficit is equals to total expenditure minus total receipts. Total expenditure minus total receipts. Now if in the examination the question comes, it is total receipts minus total expenditure. What do you think? Is it wrong or correct? It is also correct, but the figure will come in minus. So that is also called deficit. Now next one is your revenue deficit. Revenue deficit, simple as the name suggested. अभी आपको आज क्लास में याद हो जाएगा, याद करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Revenue deficit, think about revenue account. There are two items under revenue account, revenue receipts and revenue expenditure. What's the meaning of revenue deficit? It's equals to revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts. So write revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts. Now you write one line. The high revenue deficit is always a threat for government, and it is the most important concern, from government's perspective, Full stop. It shows that government is not able to meet its current and day-to-day expenditures. Government is not able to meet its current or day-to-day expenditures. Getting my point? So that is very, very detrimental. Current rate of a revenue deficit is 1.9%. So if you want to write, you can write 1.9% is the, so in 2017-18, revenue deficit is 1.9%. Any doubt in this? Obviously, if you are not able to meet your day-to-day expenditure, that is the most important concern. Suppose you are receiving money from your parents from your hometown living in Delhi. Suppose you are receiving 10,000 rupees per month. थोड़ा ज़्यादा कर लेते हैं, 15,000 per month. But your expenditures are 20,000. Obviously, in near future, you have to borrow money. It means you are not able to meet your current or daily expenditure. So if government is not able to provide certain kind of facilities to its government employees, to MLAs, MPs, etc., it means government has to borrow money in order to meet the daily expenditure. So that will create a vicious circle. And if you're borrowing money, it means you are sacrificing some amount of capital expenditure. Okay? So people living in or people staying in 5-star hotels, they should go to 3-star hotels. If MLAs, MPs are traveling on flight, they should prefer train if government is not able to maintain. And that is the sign that if you are having revenue deficit of 1.9% of GDP, can you imagine the amount? Around 3.5 lakh crore. So this is the shortage. So obviously this is the most important. We'll discuss FRBM next and encasing committee. So that committee gave that revenue deficit should be 0.8% by the year 2022-23. Okay, so वो बाद में लिखेंगे. Next deficit you write effective revenue deficit. Third, so effective revenue deficit is revenue deficit minus, now you write, grants given to states, that they are using for, minus grants given to state that they are using to create certain kind of assets. So in bracket you write for developmental and productive purpose. For developmental and productive purpose. Yes. Any doubt? I'll tell you. Because suppose according to central government, if we are giving certain kind of grants means here there is no compulsion to spend on a particular activity. These are just central government is giving money to the state government. It depends on the state government that for which purpose they are or they want to use. Like for example, central government gave loan to Rajasthan government, give grants to Rajasthan government. Then Rajasthan government using these grants, half of these grants, and build certain kind of infrastructure like road. That is creating asset. But according to central government, that is the revenue expenditure. Getting my point? Revenue expenditure, because according to central government does not create any asset. But these states, on their own, they are creating assets. So whatever the amount, it means if the central government gives 100 crore rupees to Rajasthan government, and in that 100 crore, 50 crore they are using for building roads, then that 50 crore you have to deduct from the revenue deficit, because for a country as a whole, that is using for productive or developmental perspective. Getting my point? Simple.
But the government is, like state government is using it for development purpose. They should take it as in the form of loans or.
They are getting loans, but if they are getting grants, suppose for example, I'll give you. जैसे फेस्टिवल्स होता है तो आपके घर में भी कोई रिलेटिव्स आते हैं, बच्चों को पैसे दे जाते हैं 100 रुपये, 200 रुपये, 1000 रुपये, होता है ना इंडिविजुअली. तो आपने वो 1000 रुपीज़ में 500 you have consumed, and for another 500 you are saving in bank. That will create asset. So that 500 rupees is considered as a revenue expenditure for that particular relative, but for you, half of that you are creating assets. Getting my point? Suppose you have received certain kind of grant, like universal basic income is a grant. That is the revenue expenditure for the government of India. But if, suppose for example, you do not require universal basic income, but you are receiving it. So 10,000 per year, that's the approximation. So suppose you are receiving 10,000 per year, you are making one fixed deposit of that 10,000. So for central government, that is revenue expenditure because it comes under the category of subsidy. But for you, you are creating asset. So on the same lines, if grants given to the states and the states are using that particular grant for creation of assets, that will come under this particular. This effective revenue deficit, so you write one line. This concept was given by the then Finance Minister of India, Pranab Mukherjee, in the year 2011. And for the first time in the budget of 2012 and 13. And for the first time in the budget of 2012 and 13, Government of India published the data of effective revenue deficit. So Pranab Mukherjee, actually a very well-known personality. If you remember the third 5-year plan, the first 5-year plan was based on which model? Harrod-Domar model. Second plan was based on Mahalanobis model. These two models are very important for general studies purpose. But whenever I teach economics optional student, I teach all the models of all the plans. So on the third 5-year plan based on Gadgil Yojana. So there was one economist known as D.R. Gadgil. And by combining D.R. Gadgil and this Pranab Mukherjee, they came out with the particular formula, which is popularly known as Gadgil-Mukherjee formula. In order to devolve the amount of money, the Planning Commission used that particular formula, Gadgil-Mukherjee formula, to devolve certain amount of funds between states, horizontally as well as vertically. So he was actually a great person for India. Later on, he became president, and you know the story. ठीक है.
So was he an economist?
Not economist. He was politician, but he was previously indulged in research. He was the part of Planning Commission as well. Ex officio members. Or he was a politician, seasoned politician from the time of Indira Gandhi. बहुत लंबा career. But later on, government wants P. Chidambaram to be the finance minister. तो हटा तो सकते नहीं आप इतने सीनियर को. क्या ऑप्शन है? एक और ऊपर. So president of India. क्या? Half of it. I don't remember exactly. That's why I'm not dictating. Next year budget में आएगा. आपको लिखाऊंगा तो उसका मतलब भी नहीं है. आने वाला है ना मार्च में. Last year का मुझे याद है around 0.9% है. But do not write. ठीक है. Effective revenue deficit. Okay. Now we are moving to the most important fiscal deficits. Now there are two formulas. Meaning is same, but most of the time students got confused. That is why I'm telling you two different formulas. Meaning is same, calculation will be also same. But sometimes in examination they ask this one, they ask this one. तो वो गलत हो जाता है. ठीक है. First one is simple. Total expenditure minus total revenue. So remember, this looks like same as budget deficit. But here under total revenue you have to exclude. So except borrowings. So except borrowings, total revenue except borrowings. Okay, now just understand, tell you right. If you remember, our expenditure was 100 crore, our revenue was 80 crore. But what was the budget deficit? It means we are borrowing 20 crore to make this deficit equal. So here our total revenue is 100 crore. Budget is in balance, except borrowing means minus 20 crore. This was your borrowing. So that will come out as fiscal deficit. Come out as कितना आएगा? फिस्कल डेफिसिट कितना आएगा? -20 crore. It means that fiscal deficit is 20 crore. So it means fiscal deficit is equivalent to borrowing of the government. Getting my point? Another formula is total expenditure minus revenue receipts this sometimes in examination you will find like this: total expenditure minus revenue receipts and 1, 2, 3 item of your capital receipts. If you remember, there are 4 items. First one was this investment receipt, second sale of asset, third one recovery of past loans, fourth one, so you cannot write borrowings because it shows borrowings. So this is also another formula. Done. Any doubt in fiscal deficit? Yes. What? Both internal and external. What? WMA will not count. These are loans given by RBI. Ways and means in advances. There is certain kind of condition that if state government is borrowing till this amount, 2% will be the interest rate. Always there are some nominal interest rate. They will not charge high interest rate, but there is some compulsion that government has to repay to the Reserve Bank of India. Before 1997, under WMA, it means before WMA, there was no compulsion on the government side. If you are experiencing a certain kind of deficit, you just borrow from RBI. And government never gave back this particular amount to Reserve Bank of India. That is why if RBI will not receive the loan, RBI had to print the currency. What we call deficit financing or monetization of deficit. ठीक है, समझ में आया? Any doubt?
What is problem with that? Like monetization.
What is the problem with that?
Like if government is not paying to RBI, what ramification it will have? Is it wrong?
There is no norm. That is why in 1997 we have initiated WM. अब norm बन गया. If government is borrowing from RBI, government has to repay. पहले नहीं था ना, आप देखो ना, starting from 1980s, the value of 1 rupee was high. If you compare with 1980s and 1997, what about value of rupee? Nothing. आज तो 1 रुपये की वैल्यू ही नहीं है. So if you go to some dairy shops, उन्हीं के लिए वैल्यू है. Like they will not give you at 23, 22, so whatever they want. Otherwise आप कहीं भी जाओ, they will not take it seriously. 1 rupee. किसी बैगर को दोगे वापस कर देगा आपको. ठीक है, चलो. Fifth important deficit is primary deficit. Yes, any idea? Yes, interest payments. Primary deficit means fiscal deficit minus interest payment. So what do you understand? It means if you are borrowing money to fund your budget deficit, for that borrowing, how much is your interest payment? Like in reality, our fiscal deficit is 5.46 lakh crores. And among this, 5.23 lakh crore is the interest payment. It means we are borrowing just to repay another loan. If you have taken loan from HDFC but you are not able to pay back, you take another loan from SBI just to pay back your loan in HDFC. That's the same thing. So it means a high primary deficit and a low primary deficit. Which one is good? Suppose there are two conditions. Which one is better? Option 1, option 2. How many of you are saying option 2? Option 2 is better. Option 1 is better. If it is better, fiscal deficit 3% of GDP is always acceptable. There is no only in capital account. No, there is no deficits such as capital account deficit. Here, which one is better? What do you think? First one or second one? Second one. Why? Because here remaining 4.46 lakh crore you can borrow for other purposes as well, like for building any infrastructure. But here you are just borrowing to repay your past loans. That is interest payment. Getting my point? So here this is detrimental. Obviously, whenever you will take, this figure will far low in comparison to the second one. So low fiscal deficit is harmful for the economy. Low primary deficit is harmful for the economy.
It also shows that what is the track record of the current government. Like they are not borrowing more for themselves, but they are already paying the interest.
You have to see the data of 4 or 5 years. I'm not talking about if it is good for this government or not for this government. I'm talking about country. Think from country's perspective ना. किसी भी government ने loan लिया होगा, we have to repay. आप repay नहीं करोगे तो that's the obligation. That is sovereign loans. You understand sovereign loans? That is on government of India. Like external commercial borrowings, there is no sovereign loan. RBI will receive dollar, but obligation is on private companies. So RBI is happy. They are receiving dollar to fund their current account deficit. But here, under this is a loan on sovereign government. That is government of India. Government of India has the obligation to repay this. So if you are borrowing just to pay interest, obviously that is unsustainable in the future. So low primary deficit always harmful. You write this. Example likhna, you can write these two figures. First one is the actual figure. Second one is hypothetical. So write this, I'll dictate one line after it. A high primary deficit is acceptable from government's point of view because under primary deficit, if it is low, then it means government is borrowing. It means government is borrowing to pay the interest on the past loans. So it was around 1.2%. It means from your 3% of fiscal deficit, previously it was around 1.2%. But now it is increasing.